So I just watched the very strangely titled, or at least I'm not entirely sure what it's supposed to refer to, but yeah, this is where I leave you. I suppose maybe it's the person who left Philip maybe said it. I don't think they actually said it though. Other than that, well, I suppose it could also metaphorically refer to their father dying as well. Yeah. So yeah, it's I don't know. It's supposed to be yeah. But I don't quite think it worked quite well. It's obviously just pure melodrama mostly. Suppose it's billed as a comedy though, comedy drama. There certainly was far too much more drama than comedy, and the drama didn't seem to be impactful either. It didn't seem to be drama that really makes sense to an extent that viewer really takes an interest in. And there's far too many people at any rate, when there's usually an ensemble cast, that they really need to be individually interesting. But this was, I mean, I could better distinguish them, honestly. They all seem fairly similar, maybe, some differences, but it's all it's kind of boring when you get a whole movie where all you talk about is relationships. Just doesn't quite work very well, and I mean, it obviously tried to, it thought that we'll have this will totally be comedic if we just let two brothers just fight it out on the grass. Really? What's comedic about it? And sure enough, I mean, it wasn't quite unwarranted or excessive, but there was, yes, a scene where someone vomits. I generally do not consider such a. I mean, it wasn't meant, I'm assuming, to be in any way comedic, even though, I mean, this is the point, though. It's billed as a comedy drama. Obviously, I'm assuming this is more of a drama part than a comedy, but there was far too much drama, not really much comedy. And when there was comedy, it wasn't quite very comedic. Like literally, the most comedic actor was the child. That's pretty much it. And he only appeared for like half of the movie and only like for 10 seconds stop. So it's not quite. Yeah, that's the comedy is really scarce, really scarce. It's not like Tag, right? That I also commented on. Tag is far more comedic. Um, even if it wasn't a narrative comedy per se. So I mean, they didn't exclusively. It was more of an action comedy, and not often do action comedies get it right. That get the comedy specifically right. They usually focus too much on action and such, you know. But that was comedic. This wasn't. This was definitely more dramatic than comedic, and unfortunately, the drama wasn't very incredibly curious either. It wasn't. I mean, it was just about relationships, and it doesn't work quite. I mean, I don't know if it works better in series. Apparently, many of the actors come from series, and I'm sure I'm sure people will just be trying to figure out who's dating who in series. Personally, I would not watch a series for such an endeavor with such an endeavor. Yeah, just yeah, just I mean, when the main aspect, when the main point of a movie or a series, for that matter, is who's dating who. It really doesn't make. I mean, it's the main reason why I would never watch reality, so-called reality TV, right? Because that's the whole point of it. I mean, I'm not sure if there's any other point to it whatsoever besides conflicts as well. Of course, that's another point of this movie as well. Conflicts. This is the point, right? I mean, if they're obviously a dysfunctional family, but is that comedic? Is it comedic to just watch this a dysfunctional family just interacting? I mean, it was just so, you know, one of those things. It's yeah, mean, yeah, there are bits and pieces of comedy, and I cannot say I didn't seem to uh, find them comedy, but they're very bits, very much bits. It doesn't quite work well overall like Tag did. In terms of how it forms an overall structure of comedy. It just doesn't. It's they're very scarce. They're very scattered all over, and not really many scattered at all, but very much scattered. The ratio of comedy drama is totally skewed towards drama, and the drama is interesting, as I said. So yeah, uh, it's quite strange, by the way. That I read that apparently it's by the same company and director as Stranger Things. I haven't watched that yet, but I know it's a sci-fi horror, and the director does seem to do some other sci-fi uh, films as well. So it's kind of strange how he can go from sci-fi or horror, for that matter, to this kind of in inane drama, I suppose one could say it is. Um, but that's the thing, if it was if if there was a point to it, if there was like some sort of objective at the end, but there really wasn't. It ended same way it began, just relationships and conflicts. There wasn't any sort of catharsis. I mean, just because he went to Maine, just because he decided to go to Maine. I mean, that's supposed to be some sort of climax, really. It's really not. I mean, I don't expect some sort of great finale for drama, but you know the whole thing really wasn't very. No, I've seen better. I think personally, just you know, and I've seen better both for both drama and comedy. Really, it's just I've seen worse as well. So saying that, but yeah, um, it's mediocre at best. Really, yeah, mediocre. I think is the word used. I noticed it made it had box office. It did make profit, it seems, but yeah, panned by critics. Otherwise, I personally didn't enjoy it. So other than that, yeah, whatever. Now I read what some people said in reviews, and I can sort of see. I mean, what they mean. It's not like I fundamentally disagree with what they're saying. I mean, if they perceive it to be overall positive, interesting and such, possibly they didn't so much mention comedy as such. They somehow they seem to say it's an adult thing. And that somehow only Philip was a juvenile, but really I thought that most of them were. But yeah, most seem to mention that the drama works. I didn't think it did too much, but I can see still what they mean. Based on what they said. The reasons. I thought it was too much. I love drama. I thought that's the problem with regards to drama. With regards to comedy, so um, I noticed that Jason Bateman, this guy who played. I mean, I don't know if you could call him a protagonist. He is. It's an ensemble drama, really, but somehow they begin with him, and so I suppose you could sort of say that he might be. Anyway, um, he also played a part in was it uh yeah, game night, yeah, game night, which I've also commented on. That was also another action comedy, so sort of similar to Tag, but yeah, as I said, similarly, it worked better, I think. because it had an objective in terms of the comedy. I know drama doesn't usually have an objective, and this was certainly more dramatic than comedic generally, but it was built as a comedy drama. Um, either way, even if we just consider the drama on its own, it's I don't know. The reviews seem to imply that they like it, they think it's sensible because they've experienced it themselves. Even if you experience it, how I don't know. How does it work? And it's not really that realistic. I thought. I mean, a lot of what happens kind of isn't, and some is made over the top for comedic purposes and such. Um, yeah, I just don't get how. Um, otherwise, I can see where they're coming from. So it's not like uh, I just do not at all see why some people think there's a bit of a mismatch with the average rating on IMDb and reviewer. Many of the top reviews are most voted on are very highly praising, and the rating is quite wildly differing from the average rating. Some 9, 10. But average ratings 6.7. I don't know. But I can still see what they say. I just didn't think it worked so well, either as a drama or comedy. It was too much melodrama. In other words, there were a lot of people talking over each other and such. That's mainly the reason why I didn't think it was very interesting. I mean, I still finished it ultimately, so it's not like but I still didn't think it was. I still think it was mediocre. I can still see what reviews say.